through the
you're
whole
gonna
speech.
keep going, right?
Got 7 with the dog. Alright. And then, yeah, you want to set that and then. Alright.
If you want to stand over this way, Griff, because the light of the window,
Yeah,
there you
let
go.
me
Okay.
Is it? It looks good?
Yeah,
Alright.
looks good.
Communication is a process that we use in our everyday lives. Communication is what molds society into what it is today. Everyone has the ability to communicate, but to what degree? This semester, in my interpersonal communication class, I was able to look at myself more as a communicator than I have in past classes and realize what my strengths and weaknesses are. Based off my strengths and weaknesses that I took through multiple assessments, which I'll get into later, I was able to pinpoint and hone one skill that I wanted to master and that I could apply to my life. Today in my speech, I'll be talking about my journey and what I went through to become a more effective communicator. First, I'll be talking about communication skill training and what that is and how it helped me find a skill that I wanted to work on. Second is the tasks and journey and practice that I put myself through to become more effective in that skill. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about how it's beneficial to my life now, later on, and how it could be even beneficial to you now or later on. So starting off, communication skill training is really taking multiple assessments to find more about yourself and your communication skills, from verbal communication, nonverbal communication, and listening, which is actually a form of communication. The way that I was able to figure this out was one survey, which I took myself, asked me around 50 questions on questions about my personality, how I am out in public, and overall just communication skills. Another assessment that I took was for my friends, and they assessed me. I believe I handed around 3, and then I asked around the same questions about my personality, how I act in public, and really just how I communicate and talk to them. Based off these scores, I was able to see that I didn't score as high or advanced as I'd like to in verbal communication, especially because I feel like it's an important part of my life, and I use it every day. So I decided that based off these assessments, I wanted to work and practice on verbal communication and really being able to express myself more. So after I found that out, I set up tasks and kind of practices to push myself to perform new ways to express myself and use verbal communication. The hardest part of this was really getting over a hump and being put out of my comfort zone. Usually I'm a person who likes to speak, but not out in big groups or classes because I'm not as comfortable. So the biggest task was really pushing myself and finding confidence. But a task that I went through, a really good way to practice my verbal communication, was in my history class, where in my history class it's a lecture and usually a lot of times we're listening, so I'm practicing listening form of communication, but also a lot of times she'll give us the ability to participate in the lecture and read something, to volunteer to read something off the board, like a quote or a page from a book, or just simply answer a question. And usually I'm kind of someone who sits back and lets other people, just because I don't feel as comfortable speaking out. But since I knew I was trying to improve my verbal communications and really step up, instead of sitting back, I started to volunteer. And after the first time that I volunteered and read something off the board, I really felt a new identity and sense of confidence that really I hadn't felt before. And already from that, I felt like I was improving just with the confidence, which is really important. I even kept on, in other classes, I kept on volunteering, and I just now, almost every day, I can do it with these, and I can just already feel a sense of improvement. And then, thirdly, I wanted to talk about why this is so beneficial. Mostly it's beneficial right now to my personal relationships and also friends. Communication can really fix anything and is used every day in our lives. So I feel like being as effective as I can really make life that much easier. And also later in life, I want to work in sales, and sales requires a great deal of communication. So before I get a job, or if I can become a salesperson, I want to be as effective and well equipped that I can for success. and sales. I mean, every day you're communicating one-on-one either with customers, or you could be giving speeches or pitches to companies trying to sell your product. So being able to express yourself with confidence and ease, and also there's much more to learn, like persuasion, really just learning how to talk to people. But this kind of project has really helped me on a long journey to hopefully become a salesman that I want to. And then I also wanted to say that even if you are having any problems in your life with any relationships or your work, or really you feel like you're lacking in some sort of communication, I would suggest that you take a skill assessment online. You can really just Google communication skill assessment, and there will be tons on Google, and they'll kind of rate who you are as a communicator, and based off that you can figure out what you want to improve upon, and I'll give you the tools specifically to become more equipped, because that's kind of what I did, and already it's helped tremendously. So I definitely recommend it for people to try it out, because communication can really fix any problem and use in our everyday lives. And in conclusion, this class has really already made me feel like a more well-equipped, effective communicator, just off the fact of giving me more confidence to be more verbal and speak out more and be more expressive. And it's kind of gotten my foot in the door to a long journey that I want to take to become as effective that I can down the line, to eventually secure a job and hopefully sales. And then just to restate, today we went over what communication skill training is and how it helped me identify verbal communication I want to work on, the journey and tasks that I went through to practice and become more well equipped, and lastly the benefits that it has for me and my life down the line, and how it could even benefit you, which you should give it a try. I just want to remind you again that if you're just feeling at all you're lacking in life or relationships or any part of communication, just take a quick skill assessment. It could take around 10 minutes, and it can really open your eyes to yourself and see what you're missing. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Beautiful. Well, congrats.
Hey in the audience.